Greetings and welcome back to the Montgomery Heart Wellness YouTube channel. I have been away for a while, with the exception of doing a few live shows, and essentially we've been behind the scenes working very hard to revitalize the station. I'm coming back today to present the first of a number of what I would like to call Dr. Montgomery's clinical pearls. I'm just getting out from a very busy clinic, and as you see, I'm rushing here to the station. But I have a very interesting topic that I want to share with you today, largely because I've been seeing a number of patients coming to the office, and many of them are asking for prescriptions for weight loss medications. And I don't get a lot of these requests, but I've gotten quite a few. And so I wanted to share some thoughts with you on this. Now, I plan to do a larger discussion on this topic very soon. But basically, what I want to do today is give you a few quick comments and some quick clinical pearls. This whole topic of these new weight loss medications is very big, and lots of people are asking for them. I understand that it's a craze in Hollywood. It's a lot of advertisement on TikTok is going around. And so my topic today is titled Ozempic and Mounjaro for weight loss. Now, these are some common weight loss medications. Ozempic also goes by the name, I think, Wegovy. In fact, Ozempic and Wegovy are actually the same molecule. The drug company got Ozempic approved for diabetes, type 2 diabetes, but they also saw significant weight loss. However, so what they did is they created a new name, went back through to the FDA and got a new drug, a new name for the same drug rather, approved, and it's called Wegovy. So they have prescription for Wegovy as well as approval for Wegovy as well as for Ozempic. Now, and Mounjaro is a diabetic drug, and I'll talk about the mechanism of action in a later talk. They work through a number of specific mechanisms where they compete with glucagon and the like, and we'll get into that. There's some significant side effects and what have you. But I want to hit the superficial topic in terms of their efficacy in weight loss, and I really want to compare it to what we've been doing at Montgomery Heart and Wellness for more than 2 decades, which is optimal nutrition. And I want to make the argument that optimal nutrition is safer, easier, and more effective. Now, many people think that, well, it's hard to change my diet, and I got to go to this extreme, these extreme measures to eating a raw plant-based diet, etc. But I just want to share with you our scientific evidence that really shows that this is an amazing approach, and it's far superior to the medication approach. Now, just give a little bit of my background from the standpoint of these weight loss drugs. Back early in my career, I was asked to serve as an expert witness to look at a lot of echocardiograms and review articles on the weight loss drug then, the popular weight loss drug then, fen-phen. Many of you may remember phentermine is one of the drugs. And those drugs were found to cause heart valve disease. Some people died, some people had to have surgeries, and it resulted in a large class action lawsuit. There's a number of big law firms. National Law Firms is the one that's headquartered in Houston. And I was one of the cardiology experts among many of us who were contracted to review lots of echoes and prepare for expert depositions in fact, we never really went to trial. So a lot of money was spent. A lot of expert, witnesses like myself made money, and the lawyers made money, and I guess some of the victims did get some money back. Many, suffered, probably weren't really fully compensated for the suffrage. But that's the history of weight loss drugs. And I see what's happening today is that, we see again a repeat of a similar thing. A different class of drugs, those work centrally and had different mechanisms of action. But these drugs are meant to do the same type of thing, cause weight loss, but we only study them for a short period of time. We get some basic studies out. We get it through the FDA, get it approved, get people excited about it. And people who are desperate to lose weight have lots of health issues. They're trying to do something. And so they get on these drugs, they get some success. But after a while, we start to see problems. And so, although I won't get into all the details of that today, I'll touch on some of those things. What I do want to do is give you a very quick synopsis as to how superior doing the right thing is, because by definition, the right thing is the right thing to do. So let's talk about this. So Ozempic and Mounjaro, weight loss, but optimal nutrition, in my argument, is better. Now, I'm going to show you this New England Journal article. And this is Mounjaro. This is the generic name for the Mounjaro. Mounjaro is tirzepatide. It's a once weekly treatment for obesity. So the study was done. It was published in the world-renowned New England Journal. You could see it was 3 double-blind randomized controlled trials, and they had about 2,539 adults. Now, it really looks impressive when you have these large number of people in a study. It's great. It's like, wow, this is an impressive study. But the flip side of that is that if you have to get a large number of people to show a relatively small change, then the drug's going to have an impact factor that's going to be very low. So let me give an example. So let's say, for instance, I was doing a study between the effectiveness of, a gun that has blanks in it and a gun that had real bullets. And I was doing a study saying that, let me see the effectiveness of killing somebody with a gun with blanks. And let's say it's an air pistol, so nothing comes out. How many people would die from being shot in the head with that versus the people who die would be shot in the head with a real bullet? I wouldn't have to look at too many. I don't have to look at 3,000 people to get a difference. After you got blank, pow, 1 dead, blank, pow, 2 dead. So it's 2-0. After you've gone for a few of these, the ethics board would say, wait a minute, stop the study. The real bullets win. And probably you're going to say that after maybe 1 or 2, not more than 5 people study, you'll say, okay, it's over. The study is real bullets is more effective in killing people than blanks. The point I'm trying to make is simply this: the effect size, the greater effectiveness of a real bullet in shooting someone in the head is so great that you don't need too many people to compare in order to differentiate, to create a difference. On the flip side, if an impact of something is so small, the difference is so small, you have to look at a large number of people to show a difference. That's because the impact of something, and plus you need a large period of time. So large, number of people in both groups in a larger period of time is required when the impact of a treatment is relatively small. And so that's what we see here. We see 2,500 people studied total, and you had 72 weeks. That's about a year and a half of people studied. So now, if you then look at the findings, basically they had the BMI, basal metabolic index, is about 38 on average. And over a year and a half, they had about a 15% weight loss on average. Okay, 15% weight loss in about a year and a half. So they concluded that, and they had different drug doses, and they titrated up based on tolerance. So start at 5 milligrams, go to 10 and 15, and essentially that's what you found. Uh, on the other hand, when we looked at a relatively small number of people over a short period of time, so we looked at about 30 subjects, and we looked at them for only 4 weeks. And mind you, the reason I looked at the study with Mounjaro is because it shows a greater amount of weight loss over this period of time. So you look at Ozempic is about a 6.2% weight loss on average, a net 6.2% weight loss on average over about the similar period of time. So I went with the one that was most effective. So it was about 15%, more than twice that. So when we looked at a plant-based diet, and we didn't use time-restricted eating, it might have been even greater. Um, these were the findings that we had. So we saw um, baseline weight, 108 kilograms, went down to 101 kilograms. This is about a 6.2% weight loss, 6.2% in only 4 weeks, compared to 15% in 15% in 18 months. If we were to multiply ours times that period of time, it'd be like 111%, which is an excessive. The point I'm making is that this is a far more effective weight loss therapy. You get 6%, and this is on average. So many people do more, and I'll show you a case example in a minute, who have a greater amount of weight loss in a small period of time. There are other improvements, blood pressure improvement, waist circumference, etc., medication reduction. There are other things, but I'm not going to get into that. I was just going to compare weight loss to weight loss. The other thing we did see is a significant reduction in hemoglobin A1C. Now, in the New England Journal study, they did not look at hemoglobin A1C. Now, their population were a population of non-diabetics, and our population is a population of non-diabetics. So similar in that regard. But despite the fact that our patients were not diabetic, their average A1C was 5.9. So it was sort of a pre-diabetic group. And we saw a 3.4% reduction in hemoglobin A1C in only 4 weeks. And that was statistically significant. Inflammation was shown to be reduced, and we saw about a 30% reduction in inflammation. So that was a significant reduction. So we saw very significant reduction in weight to a greater extent, much faster, but we saw a significant reduction in biomarkers in our population. Now, what I want to do is show you a clinical example to give you an idea of the type of patients that we see routinely, and we safely apply this optimal nutrition regimen compared to the drugs. So we saw this patient who was 63 years old. He had a history of a heart attack in 2005. And this is probably about 17 years. So we may have seen this patient a year ago. It's about 17 years prior. And he had triple bypass 2 years after that. He had a history of hypertension, diabetes. He had chronic kidney disease. Now, let me pause there. In the trial with the Mounjaro population of patients, the average age was about 44, maybe 42 to 44 in the different groups. So our patient here is almost 20 years older, and we have lots of patients even older than him. This is, again, one case. And I'm not trying to compare one clinical case with a study. I mean, I showed you the data from a study. Even though our study was 30 days, theirs was 18 months. We showed very efficacious weight loss among other biomarkers. This patient was 275 pounds, BMI was 43, so well within the range of someone who needs to lose weight. So what happened? So he got on the nutritional detox regimen. He also started exercising because he had the energy to do so. And here are some findings that we saw. So his cardiac function, the blue bar here shows ejection fraction, which started off at 30%. So he had heart failure. Now, we don't know the average ejection fraction of the patients in the Mounjaro study. I doubt that it was 30%, but I can't say one way or the other. He had heart disease, very significant heart disease. And this is about a 6 month, well, from June to August is a 2-month period. So in 2 months, his cardiac function has started to improve. RV systolic pressure stands for right ventricular systolic pressure. That measures the amount of pressure inside the lungs, the pressure on the right side. The heart side weakens, left side of the heart weakens and is congested. The right side of the heart increases in pressure. So the pressure started off fairly high and it went down. So that's a good thing. So in just about 2 months, he started getting significant improvement in his cardiovascular function, which meant he was able to exercise. And actually, these findings, even though we studied it 2 months later, I'm sure he started having these results within 2 months. We just don't do echoes 2 or 3 weeks later unless there's a clinical indication. His kidney function started off abnormal. Creatinine is 2.06. Normal creatinine should be less than 1 milligram per deciliter. It went up a little bit, probably due to some dehydration, but it came down. Now, this is a period of 6 months here. No, make it 5 months, less than 5 months. And his creatinine improved drastically on this detox regimen. His GFR, which stands for glomerular filtration rate, that's how fast the kidneys filter the blood, more than double, okay, in this period of time. Again, kidney function improved. Now, if you look at the Mounjaro study, all of their patients had, the vast majority, more than 90% had normal kidney function. The other 5 to 10% may have had mild kidney dysfunction. I doubt they had patients this level because renal failure is a rare side effect, rare adverse event with Mounjaro. In fact, I had a patient that was on Mounjaro, was losing weight, but we had to discontinue the medication. The kidney function was getting bad. So we are able to safely implement this regimen in individuals with early advanced kidney failure and do so safely. This graph here shows the correlation with the improvement of the cardiac function and improvement of the kidney function at the same time. So the heart was being healed, the kidneys were being healed, and because the heart was getting better, I think it was enhancing the kidney function as well. And glucose level, by the way, and this individual was actually oddly enough, this individual was taking Ozempic when we saw him. So we stopped the Ozempic. So he was morbidly obese on Ozempic. We stopped the Ozempic, and with the natural optimal nutritional dietary regimen, he lost far more weight. And I'll show you the comparison in a minute. But the blood sugar bounced around. And because we stopped some of the medicine, he was having some transient hyperglycemic episodes. But because we stopped it, all those blood sugars were in the 90s to low 100s. His hemoglobin A1C came down drastically. Okay. This is over 25% reduction in hemoglobin A1C, and this is about 5 months. 25% reduction in A1C in 5 months. This is with taking off medications. Okay. We removed insulin, removed Ozempic, and there was some other medication that we removed. But what I want to show you is here a major reduction in weight. So this is about 71 pounds weight loss here. And if I did my calculation properly, I think I calculated this earlier, that's about 25%. Let me just do that real quick. I apologize. 71 divided by 275. There's about 25.8%, almost 26% weight loss. And this is in 6 months. So 26% weight loss in 6 months. And again, it's only one individual. So I'm not saying it compares to a study of 2,500 people. But what I'm sharing with you is that this is a safe and effective approach. We showed in the clinical setting, it's been scientifically validated, at least in a 4-week study, to show greater than 6% reduction, which is already better than most of these drugs in nearly 8 minutes, but nearly 18 months. And this is by far greater. So this is something that I think that you should really consider if you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to improve your health. BMI came down drastically. And so optimal nutrition works. You have to apply it. The other thing I want to say is that these drugs are not without side effects. And the mechanism by which they cause weight loss is by causing constipation. They reduce gastric emptying, and so it increases prolonged satiety and reduce appetite primarily through that mechanism. Having a slow gastric transit time has its own set of problems, certainly over the long run. You may not be able to pick those problems up as much in 18 months, but people don't want to just lose weight for 18 months. They want to lose weight for 18 years, 20 years. What are the effects of these drugs for 18 years? And that's the problem that we're having to deal with. So, it's not such an easy thing. It's always a matter of, oh, just take a pill. It's much better. But many people are asking about this. I have a young patient of mine in his 30s came in asking for prescription Mounjaro. And I just had to explain to him that it's not the best thing for him. So optimal health, optimal nutrition, those are the keys. And we can't take shortcuts when it comes to our life and our health. And the difficulty of optimal nutrition is mostly psychological. With the right type of program, the right type of support, getting started is most challenging part. And once you get the routine down, once you build these things into your lifestyle, then I think it becomes a very easy thing. So I wanted to share that with you. Welcome to session one of Dr. Montgomery's Clinical Pearls. I hope to be coming to you throughout the week as I see different patients in the clinic with different questions. Again, we're going to talk about these and some of my prolonged discussions. I'll have scheduled live, like grand round sessions. I'll also be talking to you about some of the amazing results we're getting in our clinic with ozone therapy with patients with heart failure, kidney failure. So I want to share a lot of this with you. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes at Montgomery Heart Wellness. That's why I haven't been online, but we're coming out and showcasing the work we're doing and the benefits we're having. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And also, please leave questions in the chat. I'm going to have my team monitor it, and we'll be monitoring these questions and we'll be addressing them as they come along. So again, thank you very much and welcome back to the channel. I look forward to seeing you in the near future.